This is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is Tolu Sarah Johnson. This is the book Reframe Heaven, and this is chapter 27. And
Oh, yeah, I take it over from Matthew. This is chapter 27. This is where connection deepens beyond earth. That's interesting. It's interesting to know that wherever you stop on earth, you continue. Relationships don't end. They expand, they refine and mature. Death is not a wall because sometimes I think people think death is the end. It's it's not a wall, but it is a doorway, not into separation, but into clarity. Because you do not arrive as a stranger. You arrive as yourself. That's the best thing. You arrive as yourself. Of course, the disadvantage is if yourself is really damaged, then you're still the same self that is damaged that needs to go through healing. So you've got your memory, you've got your identity, you've got your awareness, and because of that, connection continues. I've got my awareness of the relationship I had before on earth that I would love to continue on in heaven. And I've got awareness of the relationship that will never continue. So that's the good thing. Connection does not break, it becomes clear. What you knew on earth was partial. It was limited by your understanding, by your emotions, by your pain, by human perspective. A lot of people have judged them in the past based on my own understanding, based on my own emotions. And when you're speaking to God, it's always so enlightening when you see Papa say, Tolu, but no, I see everything. You only saw a subset of that person's life, fragment of that person's life, and you divine his life by that. But I see this whole human being so fully. In heaven, there's better visibility as well. And you're able to see people beyond all of those barriers that you've had in place. But it's so sad that some people's barrier is still up in heaven. Especially, I always say I don't want to speak about Christians, but I always come back to you guys. Especially Christians, I've got different words, different definition of who they think they want to relate to, who they think deserves their time. And a lot of time, it is wrong. It is not right because they're not opening up. So, in a way, what they are thinking, the misunderstanding they had on earth is still a barrier to a greater relationship that they could have had with God. So relationship itself was never temporary. You do not lose those you love. You encounter them beyond distortion. But just to put a caveat, you do not lose those you love that are in heaven. The ones that you love that they've not made it to heaven, that will be a separation, of course. So you encounter them beyond distortion if you're open to it, beyond assumption, beyond roles you once carried, because people think that you get to heaven and heaven automatically correct your assumption. No, you have to go through that process. You need to be open for those assumptions to be challenged, for those misconceptions to be challenged in your life. Because now you see, but of course, even though you see, you could still want to be blind. You still want to stay the same. And there's nothing God can do about that because there's something called free will. And free will gives you the room to do some things that God cannot intervene or interfere. So you're still connected because everything begins to shift that those in heaven are not disconnected from earth. They are aware, they see, they understand more deeply. That's what I've come to know than they ever could before. They observe the lives of those they love as well, not casually, but intentionally. They are milestones. So that relationship, like you might not be heavily involved, but they're seeing moments, they're seeing details of your life. And even the quiet part that no one else notices. I'm sure my husband sees everything about my life. And from that place, they intercede for you as well, with clarity, with precision, with love that is no longer limited by misunderstanding. So those relationships, they can grow in different ways. And sometimes Their presence can be felt in dreams as well, in moments that cannot be explained, in small signs that might carry comfort, not to disturb you, but to remind you that connection still exists. Yes, it still exists and it carries through. Relationships still exist. If you want to have a relationship with your dead relative, it is possible because they are not dead, they are alive. So, heaven, this is where heaven becomes honest. Heaven is a place where you could heal broken relationship if you want to. I remember Princess Diana saying when Queen Elizabeth got to heaven, they had to heal that relationship. It didn't take, like, it wasn't straight away. It's something that had to be done gradually. But now they're very close. So what was misunderstood on earth might have been revealed in heaven. What was rejected might have been understood now. There's so many things that unveil when you are in heaven. What was painful is healed because now you see fully that you're no longer interpreting through those wounds. You're seeing through the truth. Like now, there's so many, I've grown in the Lord that there's so many things now I don't interpret through people's wounds. There's a guy I was watching him until I used to watch something called 90 Days Fiancé, where someone in America falls in love with someone outside of the country, and then they apply for this 90 days fiancé visa, where they bring them in, and within 90 days they need to get married. This guy did that for a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, because I've been following the program now. But the same problem this guy keep having is he will have a wife, but he will still be going out there looking for women, always cheating, always apologizing, then going back to the same thing again. And yesterday, as I was watching, the first thought that came to me is, why do you keep doing the same thing, fool? But at the same time, I had a caution in my spirit. Tolu, don't judge. You don't know what he's gone through. You don't know why he's so damaged that he has to keep going. That's a different Tolu. The former Tolu will just judge straight away based on its behaviors. But I could see that this is somebody that is hurting. There are layers of traumas that he is carrying about. And it keeps surfacing out in every relationship. No matter how pretty these girls are, he will always go back and do something that will wreck that marriage, that will wreck that relationship. So what do you do for that person? God understand. I don't understand him. I don't know, maybe therapy will fix his problem. But there's so many people that are going on about with different things, different wounds, different traumas, different challenges. We are all wounded in different ways. And when you realize that, you see people from a different perspective. People realize what they could not see before, and your heart shift. Understanding deepens, and relationship that never has the chance to be whole become whole. It's not forced, but it's revealed because the truth is no longer hidden behind emotion. You can see now. Love is not reduced, it is restored in heaven. And that is important because what was real is not erased. It is honor, which is love. Deep bonds are not diminished. They are restored. They're strengthened. They're given life again without limitation because God does not build something over a lifetime only to reduce it to something lesser. No. Connection becomes richer and stronger. Christians, when you arrive to heaven, your connection with God is supposed to have grown richer and stronger. But because you limit yourself by religion, by your own standards, what happens? Your connection is not growing richer. And people of other faith, Buddhists, Muslims, they are growing richer in the Lord because they are willing to open their heart unto God. So you are the one limiting that relationship, and you just need to allow yourself to open up. Because now it's like what Jesus said, the first shall be the last shall be the first. That's the situation now in heaven. So you're supposed to be more aligned than you were ever before. And for those who work together through life, husband and wife, there is continuation, there's shared purpose, there's shared movement, there's shared becoming. And that's the beauty about heaven. Heaven is not isolation, it is expansion. You're not limited to the relationship you had on earth. You are introduced to new connections as well. And you're able to align connection together. People who reflect your depth, your maturity, your awareness. There is no loneliness. There might be some extent of loneliness, but not the type of loneliness you experience on earth. Type of the loneliness I experience now is not lack of friendship. It's lack of people that can talk to me at the level I want to speak. That is what I lack. And that I can't get it here. I don't think I can ever. I'll probably have to get to heaven to see those continuation of those intentional relationships I want to build that keeps developing me in God. So you are surrounded by those who align with you, who in heaven, who you are becoming. And beyond that, boundaries are removed. Time no longer separates. Status no longer restricts you. And you can connect with those you never had access to before. Because relationship is no longer filtered by art. So the deepest connection for you is knowing God personally. There's no connection that is greater than that. Because this is where everything reaches is there. Connection does not stop with people. It leads to God himself, not as a concept. You need to drop that knowing God as a concept, not as distance, but as relationship, something personal, something ongoing, something so real to you. You are known and you begin to know him, not just in truth, but in experience. It doesn't matter your religion. Even religion is not even important here. It's a being that was created by God that wants to have a relationship with his creator. You can have that in experience, in your heart, in your thought, in your emotions, in your joy, even in your sorrow. Because connection at this level requires willingness to see deeply. So the core reality here is relationships are not addition to heaven. They are its foundation because everything in the kingdom flows through connection. To be known, to know, without mask, without distortion, without limitations, and for the first time fully. So I pass you back to Matthew.
It's important to know that when you're married on earth, we've said this before, but it bears repeating. If you had a wife that, if you're a male and you had a wife that was very advanced, very spiritually mature, and ended up in realm 6, because she did a lot of great things with her life, and you really only qualified for realm 2, when you get to heaven, you'll go to realm 6 and you'll be with your wife. There'll be work for you to do to assimilate yourself to a stage that you can get on with realm 6 people, but you'll be with your wife. So relationships don't end. When you get to heaven, they continue. You can go to heaven and meet your mother and father, meet your uncle and auntie, meet your grandparents, and you can develop those relationships. They all the people you love might not be in your realm, but because they're relations, you can go and meet them and spend time with them. And everyone in heaven continues in relationships, and the relationships get deeper and more expressive and more beautiful over time. But when you get to heaven, heaven will like be a matchmaker for you. It's like you're in a matchmaking service. Heaven will match you with friends of similar taste and similar maturity and similar theology, and you'll have friends that you can. There was a chance. There was a couple of people who Tiffany and Victoria were former witches, and in heaven they found that one of the chief characteristics in heaven that you need to have is transparency, intimacy with Jesus, and pursuing your purpose. They're the three attributes of heaven that cause growth. And when Tiffany and Victoria shared transparently with the Christians that they were former witches, no Christian would be their friend. So there is a possibility of being in heaven where there's rejection. And sadly, that's what happens when there's flesh. It doesn't matter what environment certain flesh is in, it can still sin, it can still choose to sin. And every time Tiffany tried to make a Christian friend, they would reject her, and same as Victoria. And they were on Earth. They were really powerful witches, and I've spent time with other witches in the spirit, and they've shared with me that Tiffany and Victoria are really powerful. They've got a lot of spiritual energy, so it is possible to be rejected in heaven. It is possible for people to move in the flesh, and I'm sure in heaven there could be disagreements. I'm sure in heaven there can be things that aren't comfortable and situations that aren't comfortable. And Princess Diana, like Tolu said, had to do some work with forgiving the Queen, and the Queen had to do some work with forgiving Princess Diana for her attitude on Earth, but that got restored. So relationships get better and are restored, but they can be soured by human flesh, and people probably shocked to understand that there's free will in heaven and there's flesh in heaven, and not everyone responds and is led and directed by the Holy Spirit in everything they say and do. And touch wood, Tiffany's got some friends now, and Victoria's got some friends now, and things are going well for them. But I don't want to. If I'm participating in producing books about heaven, I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to show you mistruth. I don't want to promise that everyone in heaven will be hospitable to you and everyone will accept you for who you are. The realms do justice in putting people together of similar spiritual maturity, and that helps in that process. But there is possible people that you may share something or share some experience, and the person may object to that, not believe that, and put some distance between you. So I don't want to promise that everything will be perfect.
Thank you, Madio. So the person that is going to speak to this channel is chapter is quite interesting. And that's Cain.
Cain.
Mm.
Yeah, so many people would think that I'm not in heaven. It says in the Bible that God put a mark on me. So when I went to other countries and other civilizations, the mark said, "Don't hurt Cain, don't judge Cain." So you can tell that even though I killed my brother because of the sacrifice and because of jealousy, God still cared for me and gave me grace, and I experienced a good heaven. I experienced good times. I'm got a great relationship with Abel. He's long since forgiven me. We've enjoyed heaven together, and heaven is a place of second chances. Heaven's a place where you can be restored and you can grow, and you can grow sincerely, and I wasn't expelled from the relationship I had with God. God restored me to heaven, and heaven is a place where you can grow like this chapter is saying, you can grow with people, develop relationships with people, and your connection with people can deepen further than your relationships on earth. You can have some really good conversations here. You can really have conversations that last 3 days and 3 nights. Some cafes will allow you to stay for days and keep on serving you coffee. They're not like a worldly cafe that would kick you out and has to close. The restaurants in heaven are 24/7, and you can stay for as long as your conversation lasts, and you can get into some really deep conversations. Perhaps you haven't had a conversation that lasted more than a couple of hours, but you can imagine if you got with a couple of good people and you shared similar interests, you could possibly talk for hours and hours. And I know that Tulu and Matthew have spoken for hours before, and it seemed that time didn't even pass. It seemed that time went by. One time, Matthew did an interview in heaven, and God spoke, or someone spoke for 11 hours. So that was a really long experience. So I want to tell you that, just like Earth, you can get to know a person by asking them questions and helping them with their concerns and answering their questions, and going in depth in subjects. You can do all of that on in heaven, but you've got unlimited time and unlimited resources, and you've got the ability to have coffee and drinks, and they've got toilets in the cafes, so you can drink and drink and drink and eat and eat and eat, and have a wonderful time together.
Wow. Thank you, Ken. Wow, that was so beautiful. So to close this chapter, this is where you release the belief that death separates, that relationships are temporary, that connection can be lost, especially between husband and wife. I've heard so many times when people believe that their relationship with their wife or their husband is only for this earth and that's the end. That's not true. So that connection can never be lost, and you begin to see that nothing real was ever broken, only hidden. What you called loss was limitations being removed. This is not loss. It's just accessible access. I don't have physical access to my husband, but that relationship still exists. So what you called ending was transition into clarity, because connection was never built for earth alone. Let me repeat it. Connection was never built for earth alone. It was always designed to continue, to deepen, to expand. So the shift is this: you do not move on from people, you move deeper into truth. And once you see that, you stop fearing loss and you begin to understand that real connection never ends. God bless.
God bless you all. Have a good day.